It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And this is news that you can use from CarEdge for Monday, May 6th. And with your host, me, Ray, the other guy is Zach, and we are back, baby. We are back and ready to admit when we're wrong.
Indeed. Today's show, though, folks, brought to you by us, damn it, CarEdge.com. You didn't hear me tooting our own horn last week, so you will this week. We are hiring folks for a variety of roles. Please check out CarEdge.com/careers, or when you're on CarEdge.com, I think it's under About, and then Careers all the way down here. So that's the promo for today. Go check out the website, and we are hiring for a variety of roles. If you're interested in working with us, or you know someone that's interesting or would be interested in working with us, please let us know. Dad, Carvana, we missed this last week when we were vacationing. They have shocked the auto industry yet again. We have made countless videos, most recently documenting one of their arch nemesis, CarMax. CarMax had actually had really not great earnings. And then Carvana comes out and they had incredible earnings, selling way more vehicles. We got it wrong, man. We said that the used car market's going up in flames, but evidently Carvana is bucking the trend and the used car market's in great shape. I need a new freaking one of these.
You do. And listen, I give you my permission to just go ahead and order one. Okay. Just do it. And as far as Carvana is concerned, I have I don't know, made fun of them for the longest period of time because I have questions about their real automotive ability and their accounting practices. And what I have discovered is I don't know if the numbers are real or not, but if you say they're good and you say that, we are making such progress that people just buy into it. And not just with Carvana, because I remember the other day, Elon Musk said something about less expensive Teslas. And when he was asked for details, he said, well, there's no details. That's all we're going to say about it. And their stock went up. So people, apparently investors, just love to hear good news, whether it's real or not.
I'm kiboshing the investment. There's no investment advice on this channel. We're not going to go the investment route. We're going to go the industry route, Ted. Yes. Carvana, what did their earnings demonstrate? What did they show? They showed that they make the most money possible on used cars when they sell them. And they sold significantly more, 91,000 used cars in the quarter. Put the investment.
Yes.
Never take investment advice from people on YouTube, especially don't take investment advice from us. Don't even misconstrue what we're talking about as investment advice in any way, shape, or form. The industry angle, Dad. What the heck is Carvana doing right? Because evidently we've talked about how the used car market is set for, continued declines in prices. And quite frankly, CarMax's earnings pretty much alluded to that. They were struggling to sell vehicles, struggling to maintain their gross profit, and they even walked back their love your car 30-day guarantee. And then Carvana comes out. They sold more cars and made more money. Which way is it, man? Is the used car market going up in flames, or is the used car market stable and Carvana is the only one that knows how to do it?
Well, apparently, Carvana, who has now had, I believe, 2 profitable quarters in its history, or maybe it's 3, and they've been around for about 10 years or so. So apparently this company that has had 2 or 3 profitable quarters in its entire history has figured out the used car business better than anybody else. And while everybody else's used car profits per vehicle are going down, Carvana's are going up. So I have been speaking poorly, and apparently these are some of the biggest geniuses in the automotive industry, or either I was right and something else is going on. But let's take them at their word, which is hard for me to do. Let's take them at their word, and they are just the smartest people the car business has ever seen.
It's interesting because the timing of this maps really, really It's challenging. Let's just say that it's challenging to understand when you look at, this is from Cox Automotive, used vehicle prices, both wholesale and retail. And what I want everyone to look at here are the dark blue lines, both the dashed dark blue line and the solid dark blue line. That is showing you trends, the dashed line, for wholesale used car prices. What is that spike that we saw? Very small spike that we saw, I don't know, 2 months ago. 6 weeks ago, that was the spring selling season, and things have started to calm back down. What have we seen on the retail side? Continued depreciation of used cars, retail used car prices. They are down more than 5% from the beginning of this year. So let that sink in for just a moment. If you bought a used car on January 1st of this year, doesn't matter, we're not doing the ICE versus EV thing right now. You just bought a used car on January 1st of this year. That same exact used car today is typically selling for over 5% less than what it was on January 1st. And I think our supposition, regardless, or our approach on this, regardless of what Carvana has demonstrated, is that that trend will continue to go down, which makes me question how they can have the highest gross profit per unit. Carvana is making $5,000-$6,000 per used car they sell.
How much?
If I'm not mistaken,
how much? Say that again. Say that number again.
And I will in a moment. And look at Voodoo's comment here. Carvana offered me $2,400 more over CarMax. Walked out of the CarMax office laughing at them when they said they couldn't beat it. So like, you literally have them spending, in some cases, $2,400 more to buy cars over their rival CarMax, yet they're making $5,000 to $6,000 every time they sell a car.
Geniuses.
Whoa.
They are absolute geniuses. They were apparently some of the dumbest sons of SOBs in the car business for the longest period of time, losing money hand over fist. And suddenly, one night they each took a "I'm a much smarter than you" pill, and now they are geniuses, absolute geniuses. Listen, apparently I was wrong. I don't know what else to say. These are some of the brightest minds in the car business, and mine is one of the dullest minds in the car business. But I will say this: if it seems too good to be true, it usually is. That is all I will say. I that's it. It just, in my mind, it just seems too good to be true. But
all right, heard and understood. But those of you that are out there thinking about buying a used car, what is your take on it, Dad? Do you think we will continue to see downward prices? Because look, even wholesale prices have started to come down. Do you think the market for used cars will continue to get better for consumers, even though, again, Carvana came out and their stock skyrocketed because they had great reporting? But do you think the used car market will continue to get better for consumers this year, as it already has?
Yes, and the reason I do is because new car prices are going down. The pressure on new car pricing to drop has never been greater. We are seeing larger incentives than we have seen in years on new cars in an attempt to move them. So if there is pressure to lower new car pricing, in turn, that means there has to be pressure to lower the used car pricing, because there has to be enough of a spread between the cost of the new car to a consumer and the cost of the pre-owned car. So if the cost of the new one keeps going down, well, then you have to lower the price of the used car to keep that spread around to where it makes sense for somebody to say, okay, I'm saving enough money, I'll buy the pre-owned one. So yes, I think used car prices are going to continue to fall for the remainder of the year based on what we see happening on the new car side.
All right. And then I have this question here from Drew, and then we'll switch gears and touch on another story that we didn't cover last week that is very important.
Yes.
Drew says, shocked the industry or just shocked you guys? What do you think, Dad? Do you think Carvana shocked the industry? Because I'm pretty sure they did, with such strong earnings and with such, they sold 90,000 used cars in one quarter. That's insane.
Were they retail, or was that a combination of retail and wholesale?
Retail and wholesale.
Yeah. So, we don't did they give a breakout of how many were retail and how many were wholesale?
I'm sure it's in there. I don't have that.
It's in there somewhere. But listen, if If every major player in the automobile industry, retail side of things, is experiencing lower average gross profits on their used cars, every major player, public groups, CarMax, the largest purveyor of pre-owned cars in America, if everybody's gross profits are going down, would it shock the industry if there was one outlier whose gross profits are not only going up, but they are 3 times better or 2.5 times better on average than everybody else in the industry? Yeah, I think that's shocking. Okay. Yeah, I think that's shocking if you people in the car business above and beyond me. Um, it just, it just, it just forces someone to look at it and go, really? 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 Come on now.
A little scrutiny never hurt. Never hurt nobody. All right, we're going to switch to a different story here in just a moment. But before we do, we're going to come here from CJFFLY. Thank you for the kind contribution. Thanks for providing these car purchasing guide. I pre-ordered the new Mini Countryman. It's on order, but not in production yet. Should I discuss with the dealer the OTD price now, possibly under MSRP? I will, while my dad answers this, I will find, we have a factory order guide that I'm going to find, and I'll put in the link in the chat. But what do you think of this, Pops?
I think you always negotiate the agreed upon selling price of whatever vehicle it is that you're ordering at the time that you order it. If you order the vehicle and you haven't discussed pricing, the dealer is assuming that you've agreed to buy it for MSRP. You saw what the order price was. You left a deposit. You said, let's order that vehicle. They're planning on selling you that car at MSRP. You need to discuss the price, the agreed upon selling price, and what the out the door price would be at the time you order it. Now, being that this is a brand new version of the Countryman and that there's not all that many available yet, would it be appropriate to ask for a discount? It would. Are you necessarily going to get that discount? I wouldn't necessarily bet on it because it's a brand new Countryman, completely redone. So you can try, but don't be disappointed if you don't get it.
All right. And I dropped the link to our guide on how to factory order a vehicle, which is exactly what you're doing. Take a peek. From Matthew Hoskin. Matthew, thank you for the kind contribution. Ray pleasantly pink Zach lay off of the sunscreen. All right, man. No. Dad, wear more sunscreen.
You know, I didn't wear sunscreen, and well, I did the one day when we did the food tour in San Juan, and I didn't use bug spray. Okay. And apparently, in mosquito language, there was a sign above my head that said, all you can eat buffet. And every mosquito in Puerto Rico descended upon my body. Okay. That's all I know. But I did lay out one day on the hammock for about 25 or 30 minutes. And then everybody said, my God, Ray. Dad, Pops, you're awfully red. So
we do have some videos that we filmed down there. Y'all will see them over on the CarEdge channel soon. We're going to come to Charles's comment here, and then we're going to switch gears to a very important topic. Charles, thank you for the kind contribution. What will Jeep do now that their previous 15% off of MSRP expired? Now for the 2023 Gladiators, at least it's 7% off. Will they stay, or will they go back down or stay? I think it's a very simple answer on this one.
I think they have to go back down. But I did read something somewhere where Stellantis has decided that they're going to cut back on incentives. It makes so much sense when you're completely overstocked. And they're going to reward dealers for the amount of cars that they order. Which will be kind of funny considering that the dealers are going to say to them, take your rewards and stick them where the sun don't shine, because we ain't ordering any more of these until you help us figure out a way to sell more of these. So that's a very unusual tact that Stellantis is trying to employ. I don't see very many dealers who are overstocked and overrun with inventory saying, yeah, let me order some more, just because they're going to be, I don't know, 10 grand cheaper. It's they
No,
need
you're
to throw
gonna
money at
see you're gonna see big incentives come back. That's the
Yes.
only way to move. Only way to move the metal. Jay Nagamy, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Zach, you guys have Ford partners here in Massachusetts. Yeah, we've got the dealer network is slowly but surely growing. For those of you that are curious, that's how we help tons of folks here back at CarEdge.com. If you do not want to deal with buying a car, just click car buying service. Let us do it for you. We've got a whole network of dealers. We pit folks against one another. We do the negotiating. Like, we really, really do our best. And to be very clear, we don't make any money from the dealers. We only charge our customers, which are y'all, which we get flamed on for that approach. But I'd rather make money from the community and know where our interests lie versus the other side working with the dealers. But Jay Nagamy, yes, definitely. If you fill out the form, our team can get in touch with you or email me directly, Zach@CarEdge.com. Big story that we weren't able to cover last week, Dad. Credit Acceptance Corporation,
Yes.
which is one of the largest subprime auto loan providers in the United States. Their earnings came out and they were bad. They were very bad. And one of the reasons they were bad were because of this bullet point right here, an increase in provision for credit losses of 0.4%, 48.6 million, primarily due to an increase in provision for credit losses on a forecast change. We have continued to see from financial institutions auto loan delinquencies and write-offs and repossessions go up, up, up. At the same time, we've got data from Edmunds that tells us that negative equity has never been more per vehicle, never been higher. What do you make of this, Dad? Is it just going to be 2024 is the year where Credit Acceptance, Ally, all the big banks, Edmund, everyone's just going to be like every quarter ringing the alarm bell saying, oh yeah, it actually got worse? Or when does the tide turn here on this?
Well, the tide turns when the Fed lowers interest rates, and when the Fed tames inflation, and it doesn't seem to have as strong a handle on inflation as it hoped it would by this by this point in time. So as long as interest rates are high, it's going to impact the market, and especially it's going to impact the subprime market. So I don't see the tide turning for a while. If there are any rate decreases by the Fed this year, it'll be minimal, and my guess is maybe there's one prior to the election, but it ain't going to be significant. So I don't see.
All right, let's do it then. Let's do it. What do you think the current, because we missed it for a week, what do you think the current used car APR is at, Pops? And let's do it in the chat too, for those of you in average used car interest rate, average new car interest rate. Put guesses in the chat. Pops, get some numbers out there. Take your time. You can vamp for a minute.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. What do you think?
What do I think? I think the average used car APR, and remember, folks, this means that there's going to be plenty of people that get lower than this, and there's plenty of people that get higher than this. But I'm going to guess that the average used car APR is 14.33%, and I'm going to guess that new APRs are around 9.11%.
All right, so a little bit off, but pretty doggone good. Used car interest rates are at 14.12%. We had a few guesses that were really, really close. Dexter, almost right on the money at 13.9, and new cars at 9.74. Credit Acceptance Corporation, who we were just talking about a moment ago, doesn't do any new car financing that I'm aware of. Maybe they do some.
No, they do.
Primarily. They do? Okay.
They'll do, you can...
they won't discriminate when they hit you with that 24% interest rate.
Listen, I used to have some customers that were medical professionals, doctors that made a lot of money, who just never paid their bills on time. And you can have a doctor come in that's making $400,000, $500,000 a year, with a 575 credit score, and you could get a credit acceptance corporation or others to approve them based on the fact that they have such a high income level.
Yeah.
So that they could afford that $1,500 to $1,800 a month payment on that BMW.
Anyway, so yes, that's where interest rates lie, and there's the downstream impact, which are people falling delinquent on their auto loans. Actually, I don't even know if the two are necessarily correlated. Those people that are falling delinquent on their auto loans are the people that got interest rates that were like during 0% times. Like there's correlation here in the sense that it's both going to negatively impact used car market. I mean, positively for people that are on the sidelines waiting for prices to go down. We're just taking more and more people out of the market. You're taking people out of the market because the average interest rate to get a used car financing is 14%, and you're taking used car customers out of the market because they're going delinquent on their auto loans and won't be able to get approved for another one. And you're adding supply back into the market because those people who are going delinquent, their vehicles are being repossessed and sent to the auctions. And last week, we weren't on, but the week before that, we had tons of people in our community telling us not only were consumers getting their vehicles repoed and sent to the auctions, dealers were getting their vehicles repoed and sent to the auctions. Weird time in the used car market, Dad. Really weird time.
Yeah, well, if I were in the used car business right now, I'd be hitting up Bernie Garcia III and to ask him, hey, what do I need to do to be as successful as you guys are at Carvana? That's where I'd be looking.
My phone number's open, man. I'm all ears. I'm pretty sure they made $11 billion in like 2 days. All right, that from Rich. From Rich. Rich Diana, thank you for the contribution. BYD is selling their basic model for $4,000 in China. Does CarEdge have any access, or do we wait till the Mexican factory is built? We got no BYD connections, man. $4,000 car.
Yeah, it's the size of a roller skate. Come on. I mean, what do you think you're buying for $4,000? Even in China. Okay? It's come on. At this point, they're not even building a Mexico factory. There was talk about possibly doing it, but they haven't bought the ground yet. They haven't really committed to anything yet. I think it's all a ploy to see how the U.S. reacts to the potential of BYD trying to sneak into the market, the U.S. market, through a channel that wouldn't normally be available. I don't see it happen. If you want to ride around on an electric roller skate, more power to you.
The $4,000 electric roller skate, folks. Thank you, Robert Russell. We appreciate the contribution. Carvana is improving by selling garbage to their customers with stuff that shouldn't have passed their 150-point inspection. I can't comment too much on the quality of Carvana cars to corroborate what Robert's saying. However, we do know that in certain states, online used car dealers, namely Carvana, Vroom
doesn't exist anymore.
Vroom's no longer operating. Have faced. Actually, I don't even know if Carvana faced this. The one that I'm referring to is in the state of Texas. Vroom had a class action lawsuit, or a lawsuit from the state's attorney general, about just terrible quality of cars being dropped off in the middle of the night. I don't know if the same can be said about Carvana, so can't really corroborate. But I know online car dealers have struggled with that in the past. I've got to imagine it's not their intent. Their intent is probably not to send people shitty. Oh, dang it. We were off for a week and I cursed. Crappy cars.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens. That's what happens when you spend a week in Puerto Rico. What can I tell you?
I'm really sorry.
Yes, as well you should be. Yeah. Dang it. Why are new car rates so much lower than used car rates? Because there's less risk involved in financing a new car as opposed to financing a used car. That's why the rates are so much less.
Yeah, and you also have subvented interest rates coming from the captive lender, which also drives down the average.
Yes.
Igor says here that means the used car market is crashing, Zach, since negative equity is growing. The latest data we had on negative equity was over $6,000 is the average amount of negative equity on a used car right now. You've got to imagine that was from Q4 of last year. You've got to imagine it's even worse right now.
Yeah, it's up because used car prices are going down, which means used car wholesale values are going down, which means used car trade-in values that a dealer is going to offer you are going down. And meanwhile, your negative equity just continues to increase because the value of your car has dropped so much. So, yeah, that $6,067 average negative equity for people trying to trade in, that's going to go way up.
Yeah, it really, really is. All right, Dad, we also have here a comment from Stan. I can imagine manufacturers and banks watching this and blanking their pants. Imagine all the new metal and liens rotting into garbage. I don't know if it's that bad, but it's not pretty. And we know a lot of people in the industry do stay in tune with what we talk about and what we talk about here
Yes.
on the Rainsack channel and at CarEdge in general. And I will say, yeah, it's not pretty right now what the industry is experiencing. Before we go to our favorite segment of the show, I want to pull this up from PW Skyline V37. I got a job with CarEdge. Woohoo! Super excited to work at such an awesome company with two really great men. Everyone I met during the interviewing process has been amazing. Again, we are hiring for a variety of roles. I see Cody Yu here saying when you have a UX opening, we do have a UX opening, Cody. So please go to caredge.com/careers or email me directly, Zach, or careers@caredge.com. We are hiring, guys. The car buying service is taking off. People really seem to love that. So we have tons of opportunities here at a company. You ready?
Really? You gotta be kidding me.
All right, you mentioned this earlier, but we're going to go back to the well because it's great. This was from Car Dealership Guy, heard from an owner of a top dealer group that Stellantis is switching dealer incentives in a big way this month. They're reportedly switching certain dealer incentives from selling vehicles to accepting vehicles from Stellantis. Let's do it together. Let's here we go. We're going to the chat. Yeah. This won't end well, and I think we are just getting started. The car dealer says this happened on April 2nd.
Can I say one thing? Scroll back up for a second.
Yeah.
Scroll down just a little bit where that comment from Andrew DeFeo. I had the pleasure of meeting Andrew at one time, and his father Sam. I believe Sam might have passed away. I'm not 100% sure. But they had a large dealer network, a dealer group in North Jersey.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What do you make of this, Dad? The comments are, not necessarily. Yeah, not necessarily positive on it.
You can't incentivize the dealers to accept more of your vehicles if the dealer can't sell the vehicles that they already have.
That's death spiral type behavior.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. For the manufacturer, their customer is the dealer. For the dealer, their customer is the ultimate retail purchaser. Manufacturers have, over the course of history, helped dealers move the metal when what the manufacturer built, the customer didn't want, so that they put incentives on them to help move them, to help spur the process. It doesn't make any sense to encourage the dealer to accept more vehicles if the dealer can't sell the vehicles it has. If you force the dealer to accept more vehicles, then ultimately what you are hoping is that a large number of your dealer participants, your dealer body, are going to go bankrupt and go out of business. And maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, perhaps we'd be better off if we had 10 or 15% less CDJR dealers nationally. Maybe you would. Maybe you wouldn't. You know who it's going to impact? The customers. Because the fewer dealers you have, the less competition there is for those dealers to get a customer. So ultimately, if the goal is to force a large percentage of their dealer body out of business, the big loser is not only going to be that dealer that went out of business, but customers that are looking to buy the car.
Yeah, I do think you're hitting on something, though. Like, this will force dealers out of business. We know from talking to CDJR dealers, they are denying inventory, and it's not like $1,000 a car is going to really, be the game changer here. Those cars are costing them hundreds of thousands of dollars
A month.
every single quarter, just sitting there, monthly and quarterly. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a rather unique approach that Stellantis is taking, and maybe because it's such a foreign entity, the biggest portion of their business is not necessarily North America, because Stellantis is a multinational corporation, and the bulk of their business, which is extremely profitable, is in Europe. So maybe that's it, but they are. I think they're going out of their way to figure out how to piss off their dealers. That's what I really, and I think it's because they're hoping that their dealers will either close down, and maybe they can get enough dealers to close down so that they could go to a manufacturer to customer selling process. I don't know, but if I was a dealer and my factory rep came in and said, well, the customer incentives don't exist, they're just dealer incentives, and to earn them you have to accept more allocation, I would throw the son of a gun out. I would just tell them to leave. You're of no help at this point. Don't come in and point out what aged inventory I have, because most of it's aged. Don't come in and tell me how I should try and advertise my vehicles to try and move them along, if from your perspective you have nothing to do with helping us move these things. So I would throw my factory rep out, and I would tell them, you know what, when you can come back, when you got something that'll help move the metal. And until you do, keep your butt out of my dealership.
All right, let's end on a positive note today, folks, from Simple Gunner. It says, hello, I seek Ray's seal of approval on a new purchase I recently made. Can't link. It's in the success stories posted by Sean. So, folks, for those of you that are unfamiliar, we have a community forum. It is super active, caredge.com/community. I'm in the success stories channel, so you can see what other community members have been able to do here in the success stories channel. And I found Sean's post. You ready for this, Deb?
Yes.
I bought my first factory order new vehicle and made my own success with all the free advice Pops and his son were giving. That's awesome. After years of saving and watching the used car market, along with CarEdge and Car Questions Answered, I ended up just ordering a new vehicle. The only thing that tripped me up was he's trying to push this, was the extended warranty. I think the only reason they didn't try pushing harder was because there were two other people on my side. So a total of 3 people against 1 saying no. I was able to put half down so I can pay the rest rather quickly. And once it's all done, I will only have paid $5,000 over MSRP just because of taxes. I got a loan from my credit union, so I knew the rate. In about 6 months, this vehicle should be all mine. And here's the build we got here.
Wow.
Yeah, selling price, some additional equipment, but nothing crazy. Nice.
Nicely
No
done.
gap
Glad we
insurance,
can
no
help.
vehicle service contract, 30,000 down. Awesome. Congratulations, Sean.
And
give you a like.
and you do have my stamp of approval. I don't know how to apply it to the screen as we speak, but you have earned the coveted Ray Shefska stamp of approval.
We're going to clip that. And we've got here from Robert. Robert, thank you for the kind contribution. Thanks to you guys. I just negotiated a great deal for a 2004 Crown Victoria for $4,200, which is $20,000 under MSRP.
Yes, it is. Yes, as well it should be at this point in time. Yeah. Oh, God.
Love it, man. All right, good to be back, folks. Again, CarEdge.com. We've got the car search, the car buying service, the car buying tools. If you need to sell a vehicle, we can help you with that. Warranty and protection plans right here. All the free resources under resources right there. Check it out, CarEdge.com. If you know someone buying a car, send them to the channel, send them to the website. Dad, I love you very much. Good to be back with you. Get some aloe vera on your tomatoey looking face, and I'll see you tomorrow.
I love you as well, and if that's what you think it's going to take to clear this nonsense up, I'll see if I. My God, my head is red compared to the rest of my body. Do you know why?
Because you got a sunburn.
No, because it's closer to the sun than the rest of my body.
Folks, he might look tall on camera, but he is all of 5'6". Dad, I love you.
I'll
See you
talk to
tomorrow.
you
Thanks,
later.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody.